What we need is a president to get a spine and stand up to the Taliban. We can't afford to leave a single American or ally in Afghanistan.
So, I mean, where is this going? You know, the Taliban is already putting out warnings saying you better get out by the 31st or that will provoke a response. What are you expecting here?
I think those words should provoke a response from Joe Biden. We're talking about Americans behind enemy lines. What he needs to do is tell the Taliban, if you touch a single American, we will smoke every one of you holding a gun in your hand. I mean, that's all it takes. They will stand down. 3 times during the withdrawal under the last president, under President Trump, he actually halted the withdrawal, bombed the Taliban. They came back into compliance with the plan, and then he went on. Joe Biden needs a spine, and he needs to do the same thing.
Well, we'll see about that. You're not hearing that from him right now. Look at all of the weaponry that was left on the ground. I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary to me that Joe Biden is moving to remove Americans' guns, and yet he just armed a terrorist group beyond their wildest dreams.
Yeah, his State Department was suggesting early on that they wanted to charge Americans to fly back from Afghanistan, but you get a free flight if you come in across our southern border. And that's who these people are. It makes no sense to anyone.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because given our porous border and this wide open border policy, we may very well see terrorists come in there as well. I know there were a couple on the terrorist watch, MS-13 members, that were actually apprehended. Let me bring Christian Whiten in. He worked in the State Department and in the 2 administrations. Christian, jump in here. What do you think is most important?
Incredible failure of our intelligence bureaucracy, and frankly, is true of 4-star commanders who have said that the Afghan army and police are of a pretty decent quality. Should heads roll at the Pentagon and in our intelligence bureaucracy as well?
I think there are clearly some lessons learned for the DOD, but the biggest failure here is from state. The intel community told the president they needed to halt the withdrawal based on the Taliban situation on the ground. I mean, they were very clear. We don't need to give up Bagram Air Force, the base there. And actually, it was Biden who turned around and said, no, I want the number of troops there to go to this level. And I think it was around 600. The military told him, you cannot defend Bagram if you go to 600. And he said, basically, I don't care, do it anyway. So this is Biden and state not getting people out. DOD is, they're soldiers. They're executing the orders that the commander-in-chief gave them. We just have a terrible commander-in-chief.
So where is this going? I mean, how does this play out in your view? Look, he closed Bagram Air Base on July 5th. And, without getting the civilians out first. It's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. I mean, just think if we had one more base open, that would split the Taliban in half. I mean, and their ability to concentrate around the perimeter would decrease by half. Our ability to get people inside a perimeter and flow them out would double. So, I mean, the way this president is thinking, it calls to mind where his cognitive abilities really are. I mean, I'm a physician. I'm not his physician, but it's very concerning. And I think, the downstream effects, America's allies, how they view us, the G7 starting to make demands on us, appropriate. We're letting our allies down. It rips my heart out to hear a member of parliament on the floor of, the House of Commons calling my president shameful and saying that they can't rely on their greatest friend. It's just unconscionable where we are because of Joe Biden.